Let's begin with the foundations. Welcome to another lecture. Today we examine Lionel Andrés Messi, that is to say, the athlete whose statistical footprint and cultural resonance have reorganized how we talk about football performance, legacy, and even the business of sport. I am Professor Alexei, and with me is Priyanka, whose questions tend to expose the assumptions the rest of us politely overlook.
Hi everyone, thank you, Professor. I'm excited and also a little intimidated. We're talking about someone who, seems to break every record we try to use to measure him.
To frame our discussion, it's important to understand what we mean by Messi in a definitional sense. Professionally listed as Lionel Messi, sometimes in documents as Messi Cucitini, he plays as a forward while simultaneously functioning, if you will, as a high-yield playmaker on the right or centrally. He captains Argentina and Inter Miami, and is widely regarded, across multiple independent award structures, as among the greatest to have played the game.
Maybe the best place to begin is by asking a simple question. When people say words like Ballon d'Or, or treble, or cap, or La Masia, what are we actually talking about here, in precise terms?
Before we get to the complexities, quick definitions. Ballon d'Or, France football's annual award for the best male footballer. The best FIFA men's player, FIFA's annual award. These two were merged for a period and then separated again, which, as we shall see, complicates cross-era comparisons. A cap, one official appearance for a national team. A treble, winning the domestic league, the primary domestic cup, and the UEFA Champions League in the same season. La Masia, Barcelona's academy, whose pedagogy of positional play was formative for Messi. We observe that Messi's role blended all of this into a single career archetype: scorer, creator, and captaincy anchor.
So, moving on. Can we talk about why his case matters beyond trivia? Like, how did he change the sport's larger conversation, especially outside Europe?
Clearly, Messi catalyzed multiple markets simultaneously. In 2023, he joined Inter Miami, and we can infer a measurable acceleration in North American interest thereafter. Time named him Athlete of the Year in 2023, and in 2025 he received the U.S. Presidential Medal of Freedom, both indices of cultural penetration well beyond football. Commercially, he has endorsed Adidas since 2006, been repeatedly ranked as Forbes' highest-paid athlete, and by 2026 appeared on the world's billionaires list at approximately $1.1 billion US. In this context, his move to the United States did not merely continue a career, it reoriented the sport's attention geography. Historically, the narrative is also shaped by adversity and improbable paperwork, growth hormone therapy as a child, and Barcelona's decisive commitment famously memorialized on a napkin by Carlos Rexach in December 2000.
I think the next thing we should talk about is just the baseline facts. Otherwise, we float off into mythology too quickly.
Let's start with the history. Born in June 1987 in Rosario, he played youth football at Abanderado Grandoli and then Newell's Old Boys, where he scored prolifically and performed halftime tricks as part of the machine of '87. Diagnosed with growth hormone deficiency and treated in adolescence, after trials and administrative hesitations, Barcelona committed to him via that now legendary napkin agreement, leading to relocation in 2001 and registration in 2002. A rapid ascent followed. First team debut in 2004, first Barcelona goal in May 2005, a central tactical role under Guardiola from 2008-2009, producing a treble and initiating an era that yielded, among other things, 8 Ballon d'Or awards and the world record of 91 goals in the calendar year 2012. He scored 672 goals for Barcelona, the most for a single club in history. Moving forward internationally, he won the 2005 FIFA U20 World Cup and took Olympic gold in 2008, then endured a series of near misses, Copa America finals, and the 2014 World Cup runner-up, before a decisive arc reversal. Copa America 2021, Finalissima 2022, the 2022 FIFA World Cup, and Copa America 2024. As of June 2026, he holds 200 caps and 120 goals for Argentina, with the international assists record as well. At club level, he left Barcelona in 2021 for Paris Saint-Germain, winning Ligue 1 twice, then moved to Inter Miami in 2023, earning MLS MVP in 2024 and 2025, and crucially the 2025 MLS Cup, outcomes we will shortly examine in our discussion of trophy taxonomies.
That's a lot of hardware. And I remember the mask story too. Didn't he once take off a face mask in a youth final and score twice very quickly?
Indeed. The Partido de la Máscara in the Copa Catalunya for Cadetes A. After a broken cheekbone, he discarded the mask and promptly transformed the match. It has become a miniature of his competitive decision-making. In simpler terms, a young player solved the constraint problem by removing the constraint. Mathematicians admire the elegance, physicians less so. Speaking of elegance, a personal note. As someone who learned endgames at a chessboard and Schumann at a piano, I have always appreciated how Messi compresses time and space. The geometry is unhurried, the execution is instantaneous. This brings us to three grand questions that test not just his biography, but our methods for telling sporting history.
I'm curious about where we start. Maybe with Argentina. And whether a single administrative decision could have changed everything?
Big question one. What if Newell's had released Messi's player card to River Plate? The public myth was that River rejected him for medical reasons. His later clarification indicates otherwise. River wanted to sign him and fund treatment, but Newell's would not release the card. Had the release occurred, we might have seen Messi remain in Argentina longer, entering a River developmental pathway with high domestic visibility, but without La Masia's continuous positional play immersion.
What if we thought about it like this? How would that have shifted Argentine club football? Would Newell's or River have structured squads and finances differently around him? And for the national team, do we still get the 2021 to 2024 trophies on the same timeline?
We can infer several knock-on effects. Domestically, River's brand and export pipeline might have amplified further, but sustaining elite European-level competition week to week is structurally challenging inside Argentina. Thus, the rate of tactical refinement and the density of top-tier opposition would likely be lower than what he encountered at Barcelona. Internationally, the 2021-2024 run depended on a mature captaincy forged through years of Champions League tempo and stress. A delayed or different European transition could have postponed the leadership consolidation that stabilized Argentina after the 2014-2016 disappointments. At the club level, Barcelona's Guardiola-era model, false nine mechanics centered on Messi's gravitational pull, could have emerged more slowly or with another fulcrum. European tactical history is then perturbed. In simpler terms, a youth administrator's rubber stamp would have bent three arcs at once: River's, Barcelona's, and Argentina's.
Isn't it interesting how a paper card in Rosario becomes a lever on global tactics? I guess that leads to the napkin.
Big question two. What if Barcelona's board had refused Carlos Reixach's napkin-signed commitment? The napkin, as it were, was not merely stationary, it was an institutional override. Without it, Messi likely joins another European academy, conceivably one less wedded to positional play doctrine, and less inclined to recenter an entire first team around a teenager's hybrid profile. The Ronaldinho mentorship at Barcelona would not occur, and the specific trust network that accelerated Messi's confidence in early minutes disappears.
Can we say that his playing style itself might have diverged? Would we still get the same false nine evolution and those record seasons?
Arguably not in the same form. Guardiola's Barcelona repositioned him centrally, exploiting his gravity to open channels for runners, producing that 2008-2009 treble and the 2011-2012 avalanche. If he matured in a system prioritizing transition over structured occupation of zones, we might witness a more vertical dribbler finisher, perhaps fewer touches as the team's metronome, and altered assist patterns. The 91-goal 2012 year, the perfect storm of role, partners, and schedule, relies on Barcelona's specific mechanisms. Change the mechanism, and we could still see genius, but the shape of the data set alters. Fewer false nine benchmarks, more classic winger or second striker metrics. Tactical ecosystems write the margins of greatness. The player writes the core.
From a different angle, without that Barcelona chapter, does the national team arc change again? Maybe the 2022 World Cup still happens, but with a different build-up of leadership and expectations.
Naturally, we would expect temporal shifts. The 2014-2016 pain, the brief retirement, and the eventual 2021-2024 catharsis were partly responses to his accumulated authority and resilience under European pressures. Alter those inputs, and the redemption narrative may arrive earlier, later, or through different tournaments. History is sensitive to the scaffolding we rarely see.
So, I guess the third big thing is the present-day argument about how many trophies we count. It sounds bookkeeping-ish, but it feels like it shapes legacy headlines.
Big question 3. How will Messi's legacy evolve with differing trophy counts? The dispute hinges on inclusion criteria. Some outlets list 46, others 47 or 48. The two pressure points are, first, the 2005 Supercopa de España, where he did not feature in either leg, and second, MLS conference trophies, notably the 2025 Eastern Conference Championship, which FIFA does not recognize as an official title. There is also the Supporters' Shield in 2024, credited by some as his 46th, while others segregate it from official international tallies. Then, in December 2025, Inter Miami won the MLS Cup. Whether that was his 47th or 48th depends on those earlier inclusions.
It makes me wonder how important these counts are. If he has 8 Ballon d'Or and, 91 goals in 2012, do one or two disputed items really matter for how we teach the subject?
Fundamentally, the counts matter as metadata about our institutions. Including or excluding a trophy signals which governing bodies we privilege. For historians, the solution is methodological. Publish dual ledgers. Ledger A adheres to FIFA recognition and player participation thresholds. Ledger B is a domestic inclusive record reflecting league conventions such as the Supporters' Shield. We then footnote context, e.g., non-participation in the 2005 Supercopa conference trophies status, so readers can reproduce the totals. To elaborate, standardization does not erase debate, it organizes it. Meanwhile, the primary signal remains overwhelming. 8 Ballon d'Or, captaincy of World Cup and Copa America wins, 672 for Barcelona, MLS Cup added in 2025, and, as of mid-2026, career contributions of about 1,320 combined goals and assists. The core narrative is robust under any reasonable counting scheme.
Maybe it's just me, but I like the dual ledger idea. It's tidy and honest about our assumptions. Also, quick note, Professor. Should we mention his endorsements and public honors as part of legacy signals too?
Of course, Adidas partnership since 2006, multiple inclusions in Times 100, Laureus World Sportsman of the Year in 2020 and 2023, the first team sport athlete to receive it, then a repeat, plus the 2025 Presidential Medal of Freedom. These civic and commercial markers indicate a cultural salience not reducible to score lines. In this context, legacy is a composite variable. Trophies are one dimension, influence another.
To shift gears a bit, do we conclude anything about mentorship in his story, like Ronaldinho's role?
It is worth noting that Ronaldinho's early endorsement functioned as a social algorithm. He vouched for a quiet teenager whom teammates initially thought was nearly mute. That trust lowered barriers to minutes and accelerated his integration. We can quantify so much, but some trajectories turn on human sponsorship.
So, I guess that sums it up. A definition of Messi as scorer, creator, captain. The River Plate what if, the napkin counterfactual, and the trophy taxonomy problem we need to standardize.
To summarize, Messi's career fuses developmental contingencies, tactical innovation, and late-stage international redemption into a single continuous thread. Our three questions illuminate how small administrative decisions scale, how institutional courage shapes eras, and how record-keeping frames memory. For further study, comparisons with Diego Maradona and Cristiano Ronaldo will refine our understanding of era effects and stylistic trade-offs. This then completes our present analysis. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Professor, and thank you all for joining us on another lecture. See you next time.